Alright, two things. One, I know Hiro is making one-shot chapters based on characters, but I'm not going to review them. I'll read them, but I'm not going to review them. Number two, the clip I used was Shang Tsung from the Mortal Kombat movie. If you don't know who Shang Tsung is, then shame on you. Hey guys, LunarSpawn27 here, bringing you Fairy Tail Chapter 375, The Supernatural. So the chapter begins with Wendy and Charle flying as fast as they can to get to the location of Face to deactivate it. We cut back to Tartarus headquarters where Franmalth is activating his strongest soul in his collection. Now, who is the strongest soul that Franmalth has in possession? Well, it wasn't Atlas Flame, although I wish it was, because not only was it my guess, but I thought it would be freaking awesome if Franmalth got hands of a soul of a dragon and uses its abilities against Natsu and Lucy. That would have been pretty cool. No, it's none other than Hades. Whoa, okay, that looks kind of weird. Yeah, Franmalth has Hades' soul. I am not surprised by this because, one, many of you guys said that it is Hades, judging by the appearance of Franmalth's head, and two, it doesn't make a lot of sense because Hades is dead. Alright, for those of you who haven't remembered, after Hades' defeat against Fairy Tail, he returned to his ship along with Blue Note and Kai and Hikaru after they failed on their mission. Zareth entered their ship, angry at them and blaming them for the use of Acnologia, activates a spell, destroying the ship and sending Hades to his death. So it was led to believe that Hades died after Zareth used that spell to kill him and destroy the ship. As for Rusty Rose and Kain, they were spared by Zareth. So how did Franmalth get his hands on Hades' soul? Well, according to him, 7 years ago, while following Zareth, he coincidentally happened upon his body. So he was following Zareth, leading him towards near Tenro Island, where he stumbled upon Hades' body and took his soul. Okay, this raises some questions here. Was Hades alive when Franmalth absorbed his soul? Because if he was dead, that would mean that Franmalth can absorb souls from either the living or the dead. But if he cannot absorb souls from the dead, that would mean that Hades survived from Zareth's spell, and he'd have to be alive in order for Franmalth to absorb his soul, which would be bullcrap because Zareth killed him with that spell. So I'm going to say that Franmalth's soul absorption ability works on both the living and the dead. Also, since Franmalth was following Zareth, it begs the question whether he was in Tenro Island looking for him or he was heading towards Tenro Island to find him. So I'm going to say that he was probably in the ocean where he stumbled upon Hades' body because he fell down to the ocean when the ship was destroyed. However, moments after Hades was killed, Acnologia appeared, and we all know how that went. So Franmalth either witnessed the events that were going on near Tenro Island and saw the island supposedly being destroyed, but we all know that was saved by Mavis's fairy spear. That, or he found Hades' body after it was led to believe that Tenro Island was destroyed. Alright, that's enough with the theories. Let's move on with the chapter. So Franmalth has now transformed into Hades, well, at least a goofy-looking version of him. Not as intimidating as he was alive. But Natsu's not scared and lunges towards Franmalth saying that he was the one that beat the living crap out of that old coot. No. That's not how it went. Okay, yes, Natsu did land a finishing blow against Hades. He was the one that boosted his friend's morale with that speech of his. However, Hades was incredibly strong, and if it wasn't for the fact that Happy and Charle found Hades' source of magic, the Devil's Heart, which contained Hades' own heart, by the way, Natsu wouldn't have been able to defeat him, along with the rest of the Fairy Tail team. Also, Loxus was there to intervene against Hades, also was the one that gave Natsu that lightning power-up. Also, Natsu's team, which consisted of Lucy, Wendy, Erza, and Gray, also had their turn to attack Hades. Wait a minute, if Hades' source of magic was destroyed, then can he still be able to use magic? Wouldn't his soul be useless if his source of magic was destroyed? Look, I just had to say that because from what Natsu said, it sounded like he was the one that beat Hades all by himself. Which Franmalth, by the way, after getting fire punched in the face, he even questioned Natsu himself. And by the way, that punch wasn't enough with him, so he clotheslined Natsu across the hallway. Oh, and by the way, Lucy's just standing there not doing anything. Look, I know her celestial spirits might get absorbed, but it wouldn't hurt for Lucy to try to assist with Natsu against Franmalth. I mean, it's better than doing nothing and standing there. Well, anyway, after that attack, Natsu charges towards Franmalth, and Franmalth uses chain magic, the same magic that Hades used against Makarov. Okay, so I guess even with the Devil's Heart destroyed, Hades can still use magic. I guess this just means that without the Devil's Heart, Hades' magic is just weaker. So Natsu dodged the chains, but Franmalth stretched out his arm to grab onto his leg, pulling him towards him and connecting himself onto him so that he can absorb his soul. Natsu blasts him in the face and activates his Lightning Flame Dragon mode and uses the Lightning Flame Dragon's roar at Franmalth. However, Franmalth just smiles and says, "What a wonderful soul," and uses his absorption ability to absorb the magic? I'm a bit confused here. His absorption ability revolves around absorbing souls, right? So he absorbed Natsu's Lightning Flame Dragon's roar, so that would mean that magic would have a soul too. Does that really make any sense? I'm a bit confused here. Maybe one of you guys can clarify this for me. Well, since Franmalth absorbed Natsu's attack, it seems like he has his own Lightning Flame Dragon mode. Franmalth then tells him not to take the demons too lightly, since they were the demons of Zeraph's book, which we already know that. Biological weapons born of a demonic book written long ago by the Black Wizard Zeraph. Again, we already know that. Just one of them is enough to take on an entire country's armed forces. So we cut back to Seyla and Mirajane, who are continuing with their fight. It seems we kind of skipped the beginning portion of that fight, which is a shame because I really wanted to see this fight more than I did with Natsu against Franmalth. And Seyla is just launching books at her. Okay, so she has the ability to summon books and manipulate them to attack Mirajane. I mean, sure, yeah, books are heavy and they can hurt like hell if they hit you in the face, but they're books. To me, it just looks like that she's throwing books at her. Just really? I mean, she has the Order Curse ability, which allows her to manipulate and control other people. Why doesn't she do that to Lisanna or Lami? I mean, that would have been freaking awesome if she manipulated Mirajane's sister to attack her. That would have been very dramatic and very cool. And speaking of Lisanna, she's just standing there watching. She's also not doing anything. I mean, what the hell? Think about it. The only time we've ever seen Lisanna fight, not counting the anime, mind you, was back in Tenru Island when she and Mirajane fought against Azuna. Or is it Azuma? Whatever, that guy from Grimoire Hearts. Personally, I'd rather have Lisanna help her sister and do something instead of just standing there watching. I really wanted to see more of what her animal soul ability can do. I mean, come on. Well, anyway, according to Lisanna, it seems that Seyla's onslaught of books is preventing Mirajane to attack her. We cut back to Erza and Kyouka continuing with their fight, and it seems that Kyouka is holding her own against Erza. Back with Wendy and Charle, they finally arrive at the Great Cave in Poison Jelly Valley. Charle unfortunately used most of her magic, so Wendy has to carry her and explore the cave to find Face. However, unknown to her, there is someone lurking just behind her, above the ceiling in the shadows, and it turns out that person is Ezel, and that is where the chapter ends. Wait a minute. We got ourselves a 13-year-old girl who's going to eventually fight a demon who has tentacle for legs. Oh, god damn it. Hiro, it better not lead to that. I swear to god. So yeah, that is Fairy Tail chapter 375. What did I think? Honestly, I thought the chapter was okay. It didn't really surprise me that Hades was the soul that Franmalth possesses because everybody said that it was going to be either Hades or Gildarts or Atlas Flame. I was hoping it was going to be Atlas Flame because that would have been a hell of a big plot twist. But no, it was Hades. But this kind of does reveal more about Franmalth's ability because we know Hades died, which would mean that Franmalth's soul absorption ability can absorb the souls whether they're living or dead. However, it kind of confused me that Franmalth was also able to absorb magic, which would mean that magic has soul. Is that even possible? Does that even make any sense? Not really. Now, despite its chapter's flaws, there was plenty of action, which consists mostly with Natsu against Franmalth, but also with Mirajane and Seyla and Kyouka and Erza. However, with Mirajane's fight against Seyla, I don't know, it felt like a little underwhelming because it looked like Seyla was just throwing books at her. But the Erza and Kyouka fight, despite it being short and brief, it looked pretty cool. Although what annoyed me about this chapter was the fact that Lisana and Lucy aren't doing anything in this chapter, just standing and watching, not even helping at all. Back with Franmalth, I said that in the previous chapter review that they might have to resort to long-range attacks, which Natsu did use against Franmalth with the Lightning Flame Dragon's Roar, but it doesn't seem to be the case, so how are they going to defeat Franmalth? We'll just have to wait and see. However, next week's chapter will be Wendy versus Ezel. I don't know who will win because we've seen what Wendy can do, but we don't know Ezel's curse ability, so I can't really decide who will win and who will lose. Also, how is Wendy going to deactivate Face? Well, at the beginning page, she has no idea how she's going to do it. So far, only Ezel knows how to deactivate Face because he was the one that had to manually activate it, so she might be able to figure out a way to deactivate Face if Wendy, let's just say, defeats Ezel and Ezel tells her how to do it, or she finds out by Ezel or finds out on her own. But I am looking forward to next week's chapter. So overall, I thought this chapter was okay. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It could have been better, but it was still an okay chapter. So yeah, that's Fairy Tail chapter 375. Tell me guys, what do you think of this week's chapter? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you looking forward to the Ezel versus Wendy fight? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like the video if you like it and subscribe to more videos. Also, be sure to check out my Facebook fan page and Google+. So yeah, that is Fairy Tail chapter 375. I'm Lunar Spawn 27, and I will see you guys later. Bye.